Guess what? If you're someone that seems to continuously self-sabotage, then it's time for you to start looking in the mirror and understanding what's really going on underneath the surface. There's probably a pretty good chance that you've experienced some trauma throughout your life. And that's a hard admission for a lot of people, because a lot of these things usually happen when we're little kids, when we're most vulnerable, when we are somewhat, considered to be innocent, helpless in many ways. We're dependent on a lot of other people and circumstances to truly look out for our best interest, and in many cases, usually the norm, that didn't happen. And that's what messes a lot of people up. We think that somehow there's something wrong with us if we experience some of these really horrific, traumatic, specifically sexual, emotional, and childhood trauma, that there's something wrong with us, that we're the ones that need to be ashamed, when it's like, man, all of this stuff happens for us, not to us. And that's a really difficult pill to swallow. It takes a lot of courage to really take a step back and disconnect from the emotional baggage and burdens that you've been carrying along your life path. And yet, most of us have yet to even be able to connect the dots. And what dots am I talking about? I'm talking about connecting the dots as to how the things that you're facing and dealing with and frustrated about yourself, like your characteristics, your, intolerance of other people, your impatience, your anger issues, your addiction issues, your self-sabotaging patterns, your inability to really provide any kind of true emotional stability in relationships. Is any of that registering? Is any of that registering with you? And the fact of the matter is that, these things are always, there's always a root as to what it is that you're experiencing and where did it first happen. And the thing is that what it takes for you to be able to really deal with these things isn't to try and learn self-control. That's a lie. That's deception. You're never going to be able to control yourself 100% of the time, right? You may be able to control yourself in certain environments, workplace, because, you can't risk losing your job, right? You may be able to control yourself in some of the family dynamics, some, not all. Because once you get triggered or your button gets pushed, then the subconscious is what's taken over. And if you're anything like me, man, oh man, when my self-destructive subconscious programs would come out in their full glory, they would leave me and certainly other people in bad shape. I would literally erode any sense of emotional safety and security, right? And sometimes even physical. Not that I'm just like some wild fucking crazy guy, but it was mostly just verbal. I could get very verbally abusive, very verbally upset, just lighting people on fire with my words And my energy, it was a lot of energy, you know? It's like when that energy switch gets flipped, where you're feeling afraid, where you're feeling scared, and you need to go into survival mode, man, you don't think people feel that? Even if you're not saying the worst things, they feel it. They're like, man, I don't know what this motherfucker's capable of doing, right? That's how people are. That's what they're feeling inside. They're like, they don't know what you're capable of doing because it's the energy that you're projecting. And the saddest part about it is all that energy is really self-hatred. You really hate yourself. But the way that you're expressing this hatred of self is by, getting angry, and then clearly other people are involved in your life and they're the ones that are bearing the brunt of your emotional instability. And the thing is I'm here to help you heal that. There's a lot of ways for you to do it. And it's to do it for real this time. I don't like temporary fixes. I don't like quick fixes. That shit don't work. I want that long-lasting, sustainable, right, bona fide transformation that when I walk up to people, they don't even recognize me. I had this happen the other day. Someone I worked with, a leader that I worked with, someone I really admire. I seen her the other day. That woman did not recognize me for at least the first 30 seconds of me like standing and waving at her, walking up to her, until she started really connecting with my voice. And I can't tell you how great that feels. Some people would be like offended by that. To me, I'm like, that's wonderful. It's wonderful that I have changed myself so much in an authentic way, that my energy is different, right? My physical body's different. My mental and emotional state of being is different. And then clearly the physical, right? Just my physical look. It's not about just having long hair, right? I've never had my hair this long. This was just a part of that process and it felt authentic to me. I've never had long hair. I've always been a fucking clean cut type dude. Military service and all. Something just felt right about allowing this to come out through this process. And I can tell you that, we are all unique and different in our own ways, but there's so much about us that is the same. And the one common denominator that I see in everyone is we're limited by our emotions. And a lot of people are limited in a negative way about their emotions. You're truly, actually powerless over your emotions. And if you're wanting to get some power back, reach out to me, greg@resultskillexcuses.com, right? I do one-on-one coaching. I'm here to help people heal sexual, emotional, and childhood trauma. And it's a spiritual process, not a religious process. It's a spiritual process of truly going in the time machine, going into the past, right? Learning how to really see with spiritual eyes all the experiences that you have accumulated over time and get to the root and the origins of the most negative experiences, so that you can truly start to breathe forgiveness into these situations and into the people involved with your situations, so that you can be set free. You know right now that you're powerless. You know right now that there's certain things where you just don't have control over yourself. And I believe that if you're anything like me, man, I hated myself for that. Because in those very few moments, these things don't last all the time, but in the very few moments, man, it could derail your whole entire fucking existence. It can destroy relationships. It can, erode all kinds of shit. And that's like the epitome of self-sabotage, is when you're literally uncontrollable. And I'm telling you, I was doing this shit still after many, 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 many years of sobriety. That's the trip. Grab a hold of that. After still many years, a lot of you think, man, if you just didn't have your addictions, that life would be better. It would be better. You would see clearer, but it doesn't fix anything other than, yeah, it does. I mean, there is some psychological and, physiological things that definitely, you're abusing your body, you're putting it through a ton of stress with the addiction. And so clearly, yes, you're going to be able to really take an extra level of stress off of yourself. And with that, you can have more clarity to then go back in. Go in that time machine, like I like to call it. Go into your past and chalk up all the bad things that have happened to you. And even as I was doing that, right, I was still realizing that I wasn't getting to the deepest root of the emotional situations that happened to me that caused me so much insecurity. But now it's like, it's the difference between walking into a house that the power's out and it's nighttime. And you're like, dang, man, none of the switches are working. You can't find a lighter. There's no candles and it's just pitch black, right? That's like how my life used to be. It was just dark. It was all blacked out. Versus now walking into your house at night and boom, you turn on the switch and then, this room lights up, that room lights up. And you walk throughout the house and for whatever reason, you just feel like turning on every light in the entire house. You turn on all the lights and now you can see everything. That's how I feel about where I'm at right now on my healing journey. That's an incredible analogy that just came to me, is that is the difference. That when you truly start going through this spiritual awakening and really start taking inventory, which does take a lot of work, and that is what I'm here to help you do and encourage you to do, is to do the work, to do the written work that needs to be documented from you to really account for all the people that have hurt you, all the people that you have hurt for as far back as you can remember. And as you start to see that, then it's like your picture becomes a lot more clear. The lights are all on in the house now, and you're able to see like, oh shit, this thing that happened to me when I was 1 year old, 2 years old, 5, 7, 8, 16, that thing that happened to me then is why I'm behaving this way now in my 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. And once you can see that, you are now empowered to be able to say, you know what, I want my power back. I'm going to go ahead and revise the story of the past. That's the time machine. And in doing that, you set yourself free here in the present and the now, because you're no longer wounded. You're able to unpack that bag that is full of pain and suffering and hurt. And you do that by checking your judgments, checking your fear at the door, and really stepping in there in the spiritual sense of forgiveness. Letting people go that have caused you harm. And the way that I see that being done the most is that when you have to start to ask yourself, what is your understanding of our existence? Do you believe that this is one and done? You have this life. Bad people should be punished for eternity. Good people get to live happily ever after? Or is this like a huge classroom for souls, all of us equal from the soul level, And thus, everyone that's come into your life that you've had either really positive experiences or really negative experiences are part of your soul tribe. Thus, they are here to be your trainers and teachers. And that's such a hard thing to wrap yourself around, because if you have truly attached yourself to the story and the experiences that are causing you the most pain in this life, then it's hard to awaken to this fact. It's hard to truly say, what? No way, come on now. If that person did that to me, there's no way that they actually love me at the soul level. There's no way that we agreed that before we came into this life that we would meet and this bad thing would happen between us, and thus it was to help them and to help me to become the best version of ourselves. And that we've had these different roles with people and souls throughout eternity. And if that just doesn't resonate and land, then you're not there yet. If it is resonating, if it is something that's starting to make more and more sense every day, then you should continue to tune into here, because it's only going to get better. And the things that I am going through, even right now on my own healing path, are so incredible. And thus, I always say this, and this is something that you apply to your own life. Anything that you heal in yourself perfectly qualifies you to help heal that in somebody else. You don't have to go to a 4-year institution or a specialty school or get a credential. If you actually heal something in you, you are qualified now through experience, through your own experience, to then be able to see the same wounds, the same things in other people, and be able to show them what worked for you. That's what I'm doing here. I'm not talking to you about things I'm reading about. I'm telling you the straight dirt on where I have been and what I have been through and what is working for me. And if you are connecting with this message, I can guarantee you that these things will also work for you. I'm going to say that again. I guarantee you these things will work for you. But it takes you believing. It takes you saying, enough is enough. I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to invest in this process. I'm going to surrender. I'm going to quit playing small. I'm going to quit being afraid. And it's not that that fear doesn't still pop up, but with intention, every single day you say, I have a purpose, and the purpose I have is to what? To truly have inner peace, to have a sense of freedom, to have a sense of fulfillment in my life, a sense of purpose, to feel, to release the guilt, the shame, the sorrow, the sadness, the apathy, to feel more energized, to be able to do life on life's terms. You get to fill in what it is that you want. But all of these things I've been hearing from people, and there's a commonality to what we truly desire. And there's also a commonality as to why we're not doing the work, why we're avoiding, why we're playing scared, why we keep waiting for something drastic to happen in our lives to activate this healing process. When if you hear the message, you could just take the leap of faith, reach out. Greg at resultskillexcuses.com, or download the app, Results Kill Excuses, in your app store. Start doing the work. Or if you're someone that wants to save a tremendous amount of time, if you're someone that wants to save time, guess what? Daily journaling will save you time. Click on the link down below. Purchase yourself a 1% better everyday journal from Results Kill Excuses, and you will begin to save tremendous amounts of time. And why will you save tremendous amounts of time? By investing time in journaling, because you will start to clear the clutter of your mind and stop wasting time. Ooh, there's the reframe. You will save time by stopping wasting time living life more intentional. It's time to act. Act now. Get yourself a 1% journal. Start saving yourself some time. Start maximizing your time. Start living with intention. Take me up on this challenge. It's the best thing you could ever do for yourself. Investing in yourself. I'm here for you. I love you guys. Share some stories. I love it so much when you guys listen all the way through the message. You can really resonate with what's being said here. But then when you share what you're going through, sharing that this message is making a difference in your life, it's giving you hope, optimism, clarity. Man, I wish I had this 13 years ago, but that's the whole point. Is now that even if I didn't get to experience that, this version of me, it's the greatest service to humanity for me to share this version of me with all of you. So I love hearing your stories. I love it when you send me a little encouragement. Tell me about how this message is really helping you. And by doing that, you're going to help someone else to not feel so alone in their journey. Let's do this together. Share the message. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And we'll see you on the next one. I love you guys. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Greg's out.